Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving headfirst into the geopolitical equivalent of a codependent relationship. Buckle up, because we're talking about 10 countries that can't seem to survive without a little help from their friend Russia. From energy dependencies to political alliances, these nations rely heavily on Russia for a significant chunk of their survival. So let's pull up a comfy chair and get uncomfortable as we explore the fascinating, if slightly unnerving, world of international relations, shall we? First up, we've got Belarus, a country that makes the concept of close ties look like a pair of sweatpants 3 sizes too small. Belarus relies on Russia for the lion's share of its energy needs, with heavily subsidized oil and gas keeping the lights on and the factories humming. Belarus enjoys selling its goods to Russia, with the Russian market being a voracious consumer of Belarusian exports. Belarus and Russia are also deeply intertwined when it comes to defense, with joint military exercises and shared intelligence. It's a relationship built on mutual dependence, and frankly, it's anyone's guess what would happen if that delicate balance were to shift. Next, we travel to the Caucasus region, where Armenia finds itself in a geopolitical game of Red Rover with Russia as its seemingly permanent anchor. Enter Russia, stage left, bearing the gifts of security guarantees, economic support, and enough natural gas to make your average homeowner weep with envy. For Armenia, this isn't just about keeping the lights on, it's about survival in a neighborhood where tensions with neighbors like Azerbaijan can make a friendly game of Scrabble feel like a declaration of war. Russia provides Armenia with a security umbrella, a metaphorical shield against the storms brewing on its doorstep. But this cozy relationship isn't without its critics, who argue that Armenia's dependence on Russia comes at the cost of its autonomy. Let's shift our focus now to Kazakhstan, a country that's basically the Beyoncé of Central Asia, vast, resource-rich, and with a knack for making headlines. Kazakhstan and Russia share billions of dollars in trade, with Kazakhstan sending Russia a steady stream of energy exports and industrial goods. Kazakhstan and Russia share a tangled web of pipelines, railways, and infrastructure that's about as easy to untangle as a pair of headphones after a trip through the wash. This interconnectedness makes for a convenient, if slightly claustrophobic, relationship, where what happens in Moscow is felt all the way in Nur-Sultan. Kazakhstan is no wallflower, and it's been busy diversifying its partnerships, but it's hard to completely escape Russia's gravitational pull. Chapter 4. Kyrgyzstan, where remittances are king and Russia is the kingmaker. Kyrgyzstan has a bit of a labor migration situation going on, with a significant chunk of its workforce heading north to Russia in search of jobs and a better life. Hundreds of thousands of people send back a river of cash that keeps the Kyrgyz economy afloat. Russia also provides Kyrgyzstan with a steady supply of energy, keeping the lights on and the yurts warm during those harsh Central Asian winters. There's a whole lot of trade going on, with Kyrgyzstan sending Russia everything from agricultural products to textiles. For now, Kyrgyzstan seems content to keep its economic eggs in the Russian basket, hoping that the winds of change won't blow too hard in the wrong direction. Chapter 5. Tajikistan, a landlocked nation seeking shelter under the Russian umbrella. Landlocked and surrounded by some rather lively neighbors, Tajikistan looks to Russia for a sense of security in a region where things can get a bit, shall we say, unpredictable. Tajikistan finds solace in the security blanket provided by Russia, with military bases, joint exercises, and a whole lot of security cooperation. Tajikistan also depends on Russia for a healthy dose of economic support, including investment, development aid, and remittances from Tajik citizens working in Russia. These remittances are a lifeline for many families, keeping food on the table and providing a much-needed boost to the Tajik economy. Some argue that it gives Russia a bit too much influence over Tajik affairs, but for now, Tajikistan seems content to stay under the Russian umbrella, finding comfort in the shade of a powerful neighbor. Chapter 6. Syria, when your ally is also your lifeline in a civil war. Syria, once a bustling nation with a rich history, has been ravaged by a brutal civil war, a conflict that's torn the country apart and left it reeling. In the midst of this chaos, one country has emerged as a staunch ally of the Syrian government, Russia. Russia's involvement has been nothing short of decisive, providing military support that turned the tide of the war and pouring in aid and investment for reconstruction. This support comes at a price, of course, with Russia gaining significant influence in Syria, including military bases and economic deals. It's a complex relationship, fraught with risk and uncertainty. But one thing's for sure, Syria's fate is now deeply intertwined with that of its powerful ally. The relationship is built on pragmatism and mutual need. Get ready for a crash course in frozen conflicts, folks, because we're heading to Moldova, a small country with a big geopolitical headache named Transnistria. Imagine a tiny sliver of land stuck between Moldova and Ukraine, with a fondness for Soviet nostalgia and a heavy dependence on Russian support. This breakaway region relies on Russia for everything from cheap gas to security guarantees. Moldova is caught between wanting to reintegrate Transnistria and the reality that Russia holds most of the cards. The situation in Transnistria highlights the long shadow that Russia casts over the region. It's a frozen conflict kept on life support by Russian gas and political maneuvering, a stark reminder that the ghosts of the Soviet past still linger in this part of the world. Chapter 8, Cuba, a blast from the Cold War past with a side of Russian investment. Cuba, an island nation with a revolutionary spirit and a penchant for classic cars, has long relied on its allies to weather economic storms. Russia has been there through thick and thin, providing everything from oil and machinery to investment and tourism. Today, Russia is still a major trading partner for Cuba, providing a much-needed lifeline for an economy struggling under U.S. sanctions. It's a relationship built on shared history, ideological kinship, and a healthy dose of pragmatism. Cuba needs Russia's economic support, and Russia sees an opportunity to maintain its influence in the Western Hemisphere. Chapter 9, Serbia balancing act between East and West, with a little help from Russia. Serbia has a complicated relationship with the West, to put it mildly. But amidst the diplomatic dance and historical baggage, one country stands as a steadfast ally: Russia. From providing cheap natural gas to supporting Serbia's stance on the whole Kosovo issue, Russia has become Serbia's go-to friend in a region where friends are sometimes hard to come by. There's a deep cultural and religious connection between Russia and Serbia, a shared Slavic heritage that runs deeper than any political alliance. Serbia seems content to walk this tightrope, balancing its ties with Russia against its aspirations for closer integration with the West. It's a delicate dance, and only time will tell which way the music will swing. Chapter 10, North Korea, the Hermit Kingdom's unlikely lifeline. North Korea is a country that likes to play its cards close to its chest, but one thing's for sure, it's not exactly thriving. Decades of economic mismanagement, international sanctions, and a devotion to self-reliance have left North Korea's economy about as stable as a Jenga tower after a few too many tequila shots. Enter Russia, stage left, bearing gifts of food aid, energy assistance, and a willingness to look the other way when it comes to certain, shall we say, human rights concerns. Russia isn't doing this out of the goodness of its heart. There's a strategic calculus at play here. For North Korea, this Russian lifeline is essential, providing a much-needed buffer against economic collapse and a bit of breathing room on the international stage. It's a relationship built on pragmatism, mutual need, and a shared love of military parades. Outrow the world according to Russia. It's complicated. We've traveled from the mountains of Central Asia to the sunny shores of Cuba, exploring the myriad ways that Russia exerts its influence on the global stage. These relationships are born out of necessity, opportunity, and a healthy dose of realpolitik. It's a tangled web, to be sure, but one that's worth understanding. Because in a world where globalization has made us all interconnected, it's more important than ever to understand the forces that shape our world. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.